he could act like a monkey.
Yes, he could act
And
like
he
a
could
monkey.
speak in tongues.
So we would double date.
Mhm.
And our first year, we were really frolicking around there quite a bit. We would do lots of fun things. I remember one night we went to this little church, and it was a Pentecostal church. And they were really moving with the Spirit. And several of us were down on the floor, and it was, were we asked to leave, or did we leave voluntarily?
Remember, Jim was a missionary son, and he could speak Indian, or what was
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
So he got up and
Swahili
spoke.
or something.
Yeah, he got up and spoke, and they thought he was speaking in tongues.
So they all started.
You gotta have somebody interpret it, don't you?
That's right. Yeah. Oh dear, that was funny. But we did a lot of fun things. We didn't study very much. We liked to throw water bags over the. We were on the second floor on the end, and we were always tipping water things over people that were underneath us. And
we could see everybody when they
came back from their
came
dates.
back from their dates, because ours was the prime room in the dormitory, because our room just faced the entrance of the
Right.
college. So all the kids would come in to our room to see who was dating who that night when it was time to come in. We had
Of course,
to be
we
in
all
by
had to be
10,
at 10
right?
o'clock. I mean,
Yeah, we
there
had to
was
be in by 10.
no fooling around. You had to be in by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now, a little bit more about this Jim Morrow. We kind of glossed over him.
Jim Rentz?
Jim Rentz, excuse me. Jim Rentz, yeah.
Oh, he was madly in love with your mother.
Is that right?
And has been for quite a while.
It's been...
You know, it's real interesting
Marge!
that I have seen Jim within the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, right as soon as I see him, he always says, "How's Gladys?"
No kidding.
Okay. He
Yeah.
always asks about Gladys. Always.
And how's her husband's health?
Her husband's health?
Gladys's husband's health, yeah.
Well, I don't think we'll dwell on Jim too much because
Yeah, well, this was sort of a passing then. It was just a...
this was not passing for Jim, but it was for Gladys.
I see.
Yes. No,
Gladys was
Even though-
always in love with Lyle.
that's right.
That's right, I'm always in love with Lyle.
And we don't think that Lyle's jealous of Jim, but he certainly does always question me about him whenever I see him. In fact, I even had a long distance telephone call.
Tell him what's happened to that guy.
Why should he be so insecure after all these years of marriage? I'll never know.
Jim Rentz, okay.
That's right.
Well, let's get back to other things now.
Well, this is smoke here. Kidding me?
Yeah.
I've never known about Jim. Have you ever?
Yes,
Yeah,
he knows
you do.
about Jim.
Rentz?
Yes, he
I
does.
met the guy. He was a Dago, for one thing.
He wasn't a Dago.
No, he
That's
wasn't.
right.
He
Who
was
told-
German.
Well,
Nobody
Connie must
told
have told you that, but he
You know
was
who told me
wrong.
that? I'll tell you who told me that. Cully Olson.
Huh?
That's what he called him, yep.
You must have talked to everybody about
No, he's the guy that told me that when he was here. He says, you know what he is, don't you?
Jim Rentz?
His real name was Renzi. And he got discharged from the Navy after 3 weeks.
Oh, he did not.
He did too! Well, she certainly did.
Dishonorable? Dishonorable?
I think it was, you know. There was a lot of questions there.
Were you with us, Gladys, the night that Connie was driving, and I think you and Jim were in the back seat, and we had an automobile accident? No, it was the other way around. Jim Rentz was driving, and Connie and I were in the back seat, and he ran into somebody, and he didn't want to admit that he had done this, and Connie made him get out because he was driving his car. So his first thing he said to this little old man whose car he ran into, "Sir, I'm a Christian. Don't send me to jail. Don't send me to jail. I'm a Christian."
There you go.
Well, we've taken his Lord's work to the extreme, right?
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
But some of the fun things we did, we would raid the kitchen in the middle of the night, break into the kitchen because we were hungry.
So you're supposed to be in bed by 10, is that right?
No.
So
I'm supposed to be in bed.
Lights?
No,
Lights out at
11.
11, yeah.
Yeah.
We had to be in the dorm at 10, and the lights were out at 11. And then they had somebody monitor, remember?
Oh yeah, we did. They came in and
Remember
checked to
that?
see if we were in the rooms. Yeah.
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 What was it? Dorothy Nelson used to be
I
our
think
monitor.
so.
We'd always give her a hard time. So we had to have lights out at 11.
We don't know how this happened, but one morning we got up and we were going to breakfast or someplace for class, and here our underwear was flying from the flagpole. We don't know who came in and swiped it in the middle of the night, and I'm sure it was Gladys's.
No,
and she
I
said
said
it
they
was
like
mine, but
Margie's
it was,
underwear better.
there was somebody's underwear hanging from the flagpole and belonged in our room.
It was something they bought at Montgomery Ward.
Oh no, we were the best dressed girls on campus.
Then we'd sneak out. Remember, we'd always sneak in that, whose room that was on the first floor that we could sneak in if we came in past 9. Shoot, I can't remember her name.
How was your second year out there, Marge?
Just about the same as first. Oh dear, we had a lot of fun, and your mother was a great roommate.
What made her a great roommate?
Well, she was easy to live with. I mean, there are a lot of people that you just can't live with, but she was fun.
Good nurse.
Good nurse, yes, that's right, good nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both very compatible. I think that was it
Yeah,
more
I
than
think
anything
so.
else.
We
We were
were-
compatible.
Yeah.
But you know, opposites sort of attract. What would have attracted her to you?
No, it wasn't opposites here.
No,
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 you're
we
just
had
kind of
this-
both.
we were
it's
just
kind of
the
the most
same,
fun
yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, we were alike. That's why we were attracted to
Yeah,
each other.
I know my mother played piano. Were you involved, a musician at all?
I sang.
Sing?
We always we were in the girls' chorus together, so we did a lot of trips together. In the girls' chorus. Remember when we stayed at that bachelor's house in Iowa? He took 6 girls and
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember much about that. You remember when we hitchhiked to Minnesota?
Oh yeah, we always
we always
hitchhiked.
hitchhiked. And
Oh
we,
yeah, wherever
where
we
did
went.
we go? We went way to Duluth. We
No, I don't think
hitchhiked.
we went
Did
to
we get that far?
Dassel, Minnesota
Oh,
to
that's
see
where
my
we went?
cousin once.
Okay, we hitchhiked.
But whenever
I mean,
we
you
had
don't
a
do that.
boring
Young women
Saturday,
don't do that, but
then
we
we
did it.
yeah,
Were
You're
there
lucky.
2 or 3 of us?
yeah,
Yeah, that was really pretty stupid.
it was.
Well,
Yeah.
in those days, it wasn't as bad.
No, I know it, but
still
still.
was.
Nice
Minnesota,
girls
you know.
don't hitchhike, but we did. We had to get places. That's
Yeah,
why we
right.
could get any
We didn't have anything to do on Saturdays. We'd
That's right.
stick our thumb out and they'd ask some guys would come by and say, "Where are you going?" And we'd say, "Well, where are you going?" And then we'd go where they went.
What?
I don't think your kids are going to see this tape.
This is really.
This would be the lead story.
I know. This is like I always got to segue into something fantastic.
Oh gosh.
No, my mother was on the. She's a cheerleader.
Oh, Marge and I were
That's right,
cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders?
Cheerleaders, we
Yeah.
forgot that.
Well, let's talk about cheerleading. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't remember much about that except we didn't have really good football teams.
No.
I mean,
We
we
didn't
were
have a
talking
football
about
team,
right
we did, yeah.
during the
It just
war.
looked like it.
Club,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a bunch of pretty sad-looking specimens of men at that time.
Yeah.
Conscientious objectors.
That's probably about it. And Jim Rance, yeah.
That's right, exactly.
That was their affirmative action program, right?
You got that right.
Let an Italian in. I love it.
Oh yeah, both Marge and I were cheerleaders.
That's right, we were cheerleaders. We've forgotten that.
Did you travel with the team?
Nope.
No, I don't think they went any place.
It was club football, really.
Yeah.
So,
Just football?
No,
Not-
basketball.
basketball too?
Basketball.
Basketball. Yeah, basketball was.
Yeah.
But you know,
Basketball was what we
Oh, gee.
cheered for.
When my mother wasn't preoccupied with Jim Rentz, she talked about Lyle occasionally.
Oh, yes.
What'd she think about him?
Oh, we both really liked Lyle.
Why?
A lot.
Why?
Why did we love Lyle?
Yeah, we weren't specific. What was it? Aside from the wavy hair, well, you know my mother felt for everybody. I was a Navy guy, had long wavy hair, blonde.
Yeah, you had a brush cut.
You have a whole tape on why everybody loves Lyle.
Well, it was a different angle. All that
No.
nice clean stuff we had laid up on the editor's
Apparently,
floor.
if she had been going steady with Lyle, she would not have had anything to do with Jim Rance.
No.
She was very loyal.
Very low.
So apparently, I mean, I don't remember this one. I'm sure we discussed this, but apparently she was not going steady.
We've interviewed him about his Allegheny career, so there was,
Yeah.
I
I
know.
think it was a mutual.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We said beforehand when we went to school that we could date anybody we wanted to, so that's what we did.
What'd you do? Just correspond, or did he?
Oh yeah, corresponded and
Did he write?
well, sure, he wrote and we remember that they even had took his picture, and I was at chapel one morning, and here was Lyle's picture on the piano in chapel. Somebody taking your
That was
picture
good.
and put it in chapel.
Did you do that, Marge?
I don't remember that one. No.
I think that was the second year.
Yeah.
And
No.
Well, see, the second year is when Connie came into my life, so then we knew that you two would be really good friends because you were so much alike. You were
Connie, we did get along really good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Right.
so,
Okay. Did he travel out to Chicago or
Yeah.
Minneapolis?
Did you come out there?
he came out
Sure.
there. Yeah, he
Okay.
came out when he was at Great Lakes and
Oh, that's
stayed with
right.
Harold.
You know
and,
that,
I
sure,
remember
because
that.
that was
Yeah, I
your
remember
jumping
that.
Jim was
Yeah.
there then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Jumping Jim.
Well, that was
Jim
her,
Anderson.
Oh.
her first,
Yeah.
her first
The first
boyfriend.
boyfriend.
That was her love at that moment. Marge had a checkered career. But I tell you this, she got the best. No question
Yeah.
about that.
So,
So you'd visit Harold?
I stayed with Harold.
stayed
With
with
Harold.
Harold.
I slept with Harold, and I had a nosebleed that night, and we woke up, and the
Yeah.
sofas were we're covered from blood from.
That was because you were what?
I'd been boxing at Great Lakes, and I had my nose was bunged up, and then sometime during the night, the nose started to bleed. And, oh yeah, what a mess! You know what blood's like. You know, and Harold woke up to what? You know, I had it all because we slept together.
You and Harold slept in the same bed?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, gee.
You talk about Jim Rentz.
yeah. Well, no, she didn't know him then.
No, I didn't know him.
She only had 3 dates with that guy.
I know it, so that wasn't.
Or was it 4?
Yeah.
You only had 3 dates?
Well,
My foot.
That's what she said.
That's the storyline for the kids.
Come on, Gladys.
It was just the week before school let out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What school?
Yeah, because he didn't get out of the Navy until, you know.
So, but anyways,
Nice segue, Mom. Well, anyways,
Right, yeah.
you know, about cheerleading.
Yeah, she had 4 dates than 3 dates with Jim Rentz, believe me. Because on the second year, when Connie was there, we were with 2 couples were together a lot.
no.
Yes.
It's okay, Mom. I mean, it's okay. We
That's
can handle
right.
it.
The best man won.
That's
there,
right,
too.
that's right.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, she never went out with him second.
no,
Did you ever go out from the second year?
No.
That was all the first year?
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
I mean, was she lying?
No. She
that's
didn't lie.
right, I wouldn't
I
lie.
thought I thought we two.
Well, you got them correspondences when you know. I mean, we got your letters when they he was writing back and forth that summer, you know, or he was or she wasn't. You know,
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I guess
So
we
that was
had it
first
all
year
cooled
then.
off before I went back, yeah.
Cooled off. I mean, it was hot.
That was off. No.
How could something be cooled off if it wasn't?
Tell him, finish the story. What's happened to that guy since?
Well, Greg doesn't want that on his video. We're talking.
how do you know?
about
No,
yeah.
we don't want that. Might be.
We got the Netties, and what did we used to do? We used to try to think up. We used to get together with Nettie,
Oh, I know.
Castle, and Drag.
Well, that's when we had our what do we call it, junior commandos. We
Oh,
had
that
hats.
was right. I forgot. We were the junior
Junior
command. I'd
commandos.
forgotten all about
That's
that.
when we had our kitchen raids when we went down and stole.
No,
stole
what was for the benefit of us? What was
the
it
benefit of what?
of me, anyways? Who the
We were
junior
hungry.
command? I understand
In
it.
the middle of the night, and we went in and broke into the kitchen. And
Junior commandos.
junior
Is
commandos.
that something they have to wear a special ring or
No,
decoder?
we had little
Oh, that's
hats.
something.
The hats?
We had little hats. Yeah,
Was that is that like the dinks?
kind of sort of like a little dinky, whatever you call
No,
those
but
things.
when you were first year as a freshman, that you were junior commando. Is that what your name was?
No, just our
Just a
little,
few of us. There
a
were
few
just
of us that
the one
raided.
that wanted
Wanted
that
to
raided the
raid.
kitchen.
Was
Yeah.
this sort of a
It was-
secret society?
Yes.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
We'd break into the kitchen. I
It
mean,
wasn't. It
actually,
was just about 6 of us.
Yeah.
Who was in that junior commando secret society?
Nettie Castle and Thelma, and who was the other one?
Yeah,
Taffy.
Taffy.
Taffy, yeah, Marge and I. I think that was
I
it.
think that was it. There were probably
Mhm,
5
5
of us. Yeah.
Mhm.
One now is a nun. One's a missionary. One's divorced and living in California. So, and then we two
And
nice
you two.
little people.
Living examples of what crooked stuff can do.
You were there 2 years, right?
Uh-huh.
2 years. And you do degree in what, Marge?
I didn't get a degree. It was a junior college.
Junior college.
Yeah.
Did they have majors?
Not really.
Well, I sort of majored in sociology. I mean, that was what I was going to go into.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you going to go into?
Sociology, that's all. I just wanted to work with people. So,
Did you do any interning?
no, it's junior college.
I understand, but you didn't like go out and work at a hospital or a social work?
No, they.
Oh, but Marge and I did work during Easter vacation. We made lawn edgers.
That's right.
Everybody else went home for Easter, and
Why did we do that?
because we had to stay in St. Paul. We didn't have money to go home for
That's
Easter.
right. We didn't have money. It
We
was
didn't
too
have
far.
money to go home. It was too far for us to go home, and everybody from school went home. So
Nobody invited us.
this little factory had us work for them, and we made lawn edgers. And I remember screwing the wheel on sort of a lawn edger, and we worked one whole week. Yeah.
What'd you do during the summers? Between
Well, we talked about that tonight.
Margie worked.
She didn't. And I said, well, why didn't you work? And I said, did your family have enough money that you didn't have to work? She said, no.
No.
But she just didn't work. I had to work because my daddy didn't have that kind of
I
money.
think I had to date Lyle. He had to keep me up late at night or something.
Come
Wasn't
on, I wasn't even home that summer.
Hmm?
I wasn't home that summer. No, I didn't get home till almost September. That's
so this is 1945, right?
No, we're- no, we're- now we're
46.
Now we're the summer
So they
after.
started. It was the summer of '46.
she started school in '45. Bethel.
Okay, so summer of '46. You're unemployed,
Summer of '46. You didn't
taking the summer off.
Well, I think I wrote back to school with you. The
You didn't work
second
the
semester.
summer of '47 either.
Oh, yes. That's when I worked for Lawson Furniture. Wasn't it?
'Cause that's when I got married, August of
Yeah,
47.
that's right. She worked. Yeah,
Yeah,
she did. She
yeah,
worked in
Lawson
47. She had a
Furniture,
job. You're right.
yeah.
Summer.
I think I wrote back to school with you that second
what?
year. In your dad's car?
Oh, okay.
Didn't they drive us
Probably.
back?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, they held school up. Did you have sickness or something out there? You couldn't get to school. Something was wrong. One of them years, you couldn't go to school when you were supposed to because it was in them letters.
Oh, is
You
that
know,
right?
and I think it was when I was in the Navy. Yeah, your
There
school,
was, they have an epidemic out there or something?
something. Your school didn't start. It held up for a week or so.
Remember that? How come you know that?
either.
Well, it was in them letters.
Okay, I'm going to read those letters.
No, it wasn't your letters. It was
Oh, it
one
was
to,
under her-
one to
oh,
me.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that I wrote to you.
We still have those letters?
No.
I just for the record, do we have those records?
No. They were destroyed.
I didn't
The
keep
fire.
any letters from her. No, I didn't.
No, it was all the letters that I kept all the letters from you.
Yeah, and they will not be available to anybody.
No, wait a minute. The official line was about 23 years ago. They were found. They're found in a large box.
That's
We
been
started to
destroyed.
read them. It's always the storyline at the time.
They've been destroyed.
They've been removed from the premises.
They were burned in the fire, weren't they?
That's right.
The big San Francisco
Yeah, I remember. I
fire.
remember that. I remember the day they all came up and we were reading them and it was kind of exciting. March, give her those things.
I didn't know if she even had them.
No, I know it. Who discovered him? You, Greg? Were you
Well, it was good reading.
moseying around it?
Pretty calm, I'm sure.
But anyway, it was something happened at your school. I know that. I
I
don't
see.
know what it was.
Okay.
It was. You didn't go back to school. It was either in '46. I think it had been in '40. It had been in '46.
I remember that. It's funny how you can't remember.
Well, I came home before you went back to school. But these were letters to me in the Navy. I'm sure of that.
Okay, Marge, what kind of student were you?
Lousy.
Lousy?
I played.
You played, so you had what, I guess? C. How about my mother?
But your mother was a better student than I was. She studied.
She studied?
Yeah. But then I went
Margie
on
was
and
out
finished my
playing
degree.
with men.
Yeah. University of Alabama, so I got real serious.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good for you. And you got hooked up with Lyle, came back
That's
here.
right. That's right.
What'd you do? I mean, you came back in '47.
Yeah.
I'm kind of filling some years here.
About 40. You came back in '46. I dated you until you went back to school or went to Arizona. No, went back to school, right? Yeah, so you had
Well,
another
you
year
were
of school.
there 2 years, 45.
And then, yeah, I was
46.
on my own here in Jamestown then, and you went to
Yeah.
school. And I went to AUE.
Well, how long were you in the Navy?
A year.
What's AUE?
Why only a year? Because the war was
The
over.
war ended.
That's right.
So-
The war
so,
ended.
yeah.
That's right.
What's AUE?
Alfred University Extension.
You went to Alfred University Extension?
Yeah, I took all those credits to Allegheny with me. You know, I had 15 credits or something like that I picked up here.
You went to Alfred, New York?
No, right here in Jamestown. It was a beginning of JCC.
It was an extension of
Extension.
Alfred
The
University.
first people in Hunt, remember she was a teacher, she was one of the, she became I think the first dean of JCC or something like that. So I went to that, and then I worked at Gunnell's, and then the second semester I had so much work at Gunnell that I didn't go to AUE. But then by that time I think I was accepted to Allegheny.
So
So
what year did you go to Allegheny? 47?
been the following year, 47.
Fall
Uh,
of
wait a minute.
48.
48.
Okay.
Yeah, 48. That's right. And I had enough credits so I could from AUE plus that summer session that I got out in 3 years because of GI Bill too. I didn't have a lot of GI Bill. Connie and those guys had a lot of GI Bill, a lot more than I did, but I didn't because you got 2 months of college for every month you're in the service or something like that. So it just about took care of my 3 years.
Because Connie also had a year before he went in the service.
Well, that's right. Well, see, he was a home free then.
Yeah.
Was he at Bethel?
Before he went in the service. And I didn't know him then.
Well, you weren't there then.
No.
No, so then we didn't when I'm trying to say 47. You went to Arizona then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute, you went back to school in 46.
45 and 46.
And we'd
then
been
in
dating that summer when I
47.
came back to the Navy. But then she went her way and I went my way for that whole year of that. Then she came back. And we
And
still
then I went
didn't,
out
we
to-
still didn't know. And then you went to Arizona
Then I
that
went to
following fall.
Arizona.
We still weren't engaged or anything. And I went to Allegheny, and that was a whole new life for everybody. And she went to Arizona. Then came back from that. And then that fall, I gave her my 5-side pin.
Mm.
You were committed.
That would have
Yep,
been 49.
That was a big deal. And then when I went down to Allegheny,
they sang to her. She had a
sang
serenade.
to
She had the
me,
whole 9 yards,
serenaded
yeah.
me, and you gave me a rose, or what was it?
Right.
I got some flowers or something from them.
Mhm.
But that was a big deal in those days.
It was a big deal.
Yeah. And to get pinned. And then I went and lost
And then
the
she went
pin.
and lost it
And I had to put an ad in the paper.
and got it back.
And I got it back. Because I was working for the Post Journal, so man, the minute I lost that pin, I didn't even want to tell them I'd lost it.
And then that Christmas
Yeah,
is when you
the
got your ring, 49.
Mhm.
No, I can't believe you got married in
You
49.
got married in 49. You're a year ahead of
Yeah, I
yourself.
know, 48. Yeah, it would have been
48,
Christmas of
you married
48.
in 49.
Yeah, we got the ring in 48 and we got married the following year. And Margie was my bridesmaid.
That's right.
She,
It was verified in the movie tonight.
yep,
Okay.
right.
And Gladys was my bridesmaid.
Mhm.
And Margie at that time looked like Loretta Young.
That's
We
right.
always, every time we looked at the Loretta Young show, it was.
We thought it was Margie.
I'd heard that. They
Yeah.
You've heard
they
that
did.
before, Greg?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have. That's not made up.
That's not made up.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's nothing you made
There's
up.
Loretta right there.
No.
You probably heard from these two, but I mean, you hear from me, not made up.
But your mom and I have had wonderful years and wonderful relationships together. We've had a great time. Great friend.
Mhm.
The kind of friendship that you could pick up after not seeing each other for 8 years,
Yeah,
like
right.
now.
How about when we were telling a story tonight about Connie when he came here that weekend and stayed with us, and we decided, him and I decided to play golf.
Mhm.
Turn it off. Yeah, he shouldn't have it on.
Where?
Oh, no,
Where?
that's all right. It's good.
Well, no, we went to play golf, and we had no golf equipment. I don't know why we ever thought we were golfers. And I went and borrowed a golf club from Ernie, my old boss down again. I was two sets of that. We got up Sunday morning and headed for the golf course, Bemis Point, and we reached in the bags with no golf balls. So we went past Floyd Drake's driving range, and I told Connie, we pulled in. It was still wet in the morning. It was about 7 o'clock because we had to play golf before we went to church, I think is what it was. So it was real early. I told Connie, you run on that side of the driving range and I'll run on this side. Pick up all the balls you can. And we ran out, picked up a golf ball. And he says, this is not right. This is not right. I said, forget it. Get in the car. And bingo, off we went. We're playing with balls with red stripes on. And I said, when we come back at noon, we'll drop them off there. I said, there's nothing illegal about this. Well, he accepted it then. And of course, we came back at noon and the golfing range was full of people. And those golf balls stayed in my dad's garage forever. End of story.
And they went the way of the letters.
Yeah,
I can see.
that's right. They're destroyed. Yeah. But we had to do something. I mean, it was just a clever deal to
Right.
get them golf
Just
balls.
borrowed those
Sure.
golf balls.
Well, that challenge.
We just borrowed
We
them
borrowed them,
because
that's
we
all.
don't-
You borrowed them.
We didn't even
And
have
Floyd
any money
Drake
to
was a
buy,
friend.
probably. We didn't have any money to buy golf balls.
Not at that stage, no. In
We
fact,
were
you know
so
what you
broke.
did?
We had
Mother
no
and
money.
Dad weren't. My mother and Dad weren't home at that weekend, and
You
so
stayed
you
at
stayed.
their house?
Yeah, at our house.
Oh, is that right? See, I don't remember that.
I do.
Huh.
We were out of town for something, and that's how we did it.
Yeah, that's when you were living in that little apartment downstairs or whatever.
Was
you
that
were.
when we were living on Sturgis Street in the
You weren't
basement?
you weren't in this house then.
I can't say. I don't know.
I don't think
I don't remember what the story was.
No, but she remembers us living in
I
that.
remember living in.
In the basement
that
rooms?
basement
That's where
rooms
Greg
that
was
born.
born, conceived in Meadville and born there.
I know nothing about that house. Tell me about that house.
That's all I remember. It's kind of like the bedroom down here. It was dark.
Yeah.
What was it like? Well,
Well, it was a furnished basement apartment. It had a big kitchen, but then it had a small living room and a small bedroom and a little bath, and it smelled musty. And it was a furnished apartment. And then when you were born, we put your crib right in the bedroom with us. And then the only way, well, you can tell them how we happened to buy this house, because we thought,
Well,
well,
we thought, yeah, we thought she was pregnant again, and I went up and told my dad, I says, Gladys is pregnant. I won't even see what he said, but him with one kid, and we were going to have two in well, practically 10 months, you know. And so he said, we got to get a house. I said, I know we got to get a house. So they were going to lend us some money, so we went around town, and every house we found, there was something wrong with it. We were satisfied. We wanted any house. Every house we saw, we wanted to buy.
we didn't
And
care
they'd find
as long
something
as it was
wrong
a
with it,
house.
and we couldn't buy it without their money, so we'd accept what they said. We came up to this house, and my mother, she was the boss really in our family. She loved this little house. She loved it for herself, but thought it was good for us. So that's
That's
she
why you
said
bought
this
this
was it,
house.
and so we bought it, and we borrowed money from them to down payment, furniture, everything. But we didn't have nothing, and then. We had no more. I went to the lawyer that morning and signed the papers, and Gladys's time of the month came around that afternoon. She wasn't pregnant,
But we got a
but we
house.
managed to get pregnant another 6 months after that, I guess. But that's how we bought the house. I mean, it was Panic City, I'll tell you. 2 kids in you know, like I
One
say,
bedroom.
in 1 bedroom, and Greg wasn't. Well, he was just.
Well, we moved up here when he was 6 months old, so.
Yeah, so you figure out what
Yeah.
where the situation
Yeah.
was at that time.
Mhm.
Wow,
And then you borrowed money from Mr. Davis, too.
not then.
Was that later? I thought you
That
borrowed
was-
money from him and your dad, too, and then he took it out of your bonuses?
Yeah, but that was for something else, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
No, that wasn't. I didn't borrow that. That's when I bought the company shares in the company. The only time I borrowed money from him.
Oh, I see, okay. Okay, I thought it was...
Yeah, so that's how that came about.
And I thought that this house was absolutely a palace.
Well, it is.
Well, I know, but a castle. I says, when I moved into this house, I thought it was just a castle, that I had found paradise. And I thought it was just beautiful. Because it was kind of new, and she had it decorated nice.
Yeah, we bought a lot of her furniture that she
Yeah,
had in here.
'cause
That
we
was a
didn't have
nice
any
part,
furniture
and
or
we could
anything.
put that on a mortgage, which was great.
Yeah.
You know, they put it in the price of the house, and we bought. I don't know. We bought a kitchen set. We bought her utility, or washer, dryer, and all of it went on the mortgage. So.
And we bought that nice, I was telling Marge, that beautiful umbrella table out in the backyard, and I thought it was so ritzy with that umbrella
We had
table.
that for you.
Yeah, with that umbrella table.
But then what they did to us, we bought the kitchen table, and then what they did, they traded it with Dorothy, and then they liked this kitchen table better, and we got what Klein's had. We found that out after we bought the house. We never said a word because they were our neighbors, but we took a shafting on that. We didn't get the kitchen set we bought.
That you bought.
Dorothy Klein took it.
hey, I gotta ask one question you brought up earlier. You worked at the Post Journal?
No, yes.
Now try that again. Repeat the question, sir. You worked at the Post
Yeah,
Journal?
yes, Greg, I worked at the Post Journal. And I worked for display advertising, bookkeeper.
What'd you do?
Bookkeeper for display advertising. And display advertising is all the big ads in the paper, not classified. And I measured all the ads, and then I billed the people. And
How long did you work there?
well, about a whole year, right? Year and a half. Well, I started there when I got out of college in '47, and I quit when I got married in September of '40.
How did you get the job?
Through Gunnar Berquist.
You work there?
Roy Peterson's wife.
Yeah, Roy Peterson's
Or
wife.
she?
And
She
that
quit
was
to
her
get married.
job. And she quit to get married, and so she recommended me and trained me. And so then I took over her job.
And you worked until you got married?
Yeah. Until we moved. And then when we got married, we went to Meadville. And I thought there wasn't going to be any problem getting a job in Meadville. I thought, why, everybody would want me. I got to Meadville. We thought I'd be able to work at the school, remember?
Yeah, well, they halfway
Everybody
promised
else
it,
wanted to
but,
work there too.
Yeah.
but some of the kids that were going to leave didn't leave, you know. How that
So I
went.
thought I was going to get a job at the college, and I didn't get it. So I ended up being telephone saleswoman for Sears
Catalog.
catalog office. Yeah.
Good job.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good job. She had a real good boss, and we had, you know,
Yeah, we had a lot
real
of
good.
fun.
Mrs.
Christopher.
And her daughter, you know,
Yeah.
they were good people.
And Lyle worked for Monkey Wards, and I worked for Sears. So we were kind of competitors.
Two-income family.
Yeah, two
Yeah,
income
Lyle,
family,
huh?
right?
But,
You were
Lyle was Santa at Monkey
oh, yeah, I'm
Wards.
Santa Claus. Yeah, well, that's right. I
Kids would
also
come.
was a maintenance man, and I spilled paint all over the place. And one guy, the paint guy, says, "Well, he says they can't expect how was it? They can't expect cream for skim milk prices," and that's what they were. They were paying me. He said, so I didn't think of
He
anything.
was taking the paint can from one floor to another, and what it leaked on the edge, and wherever he walked, he left a trail
All
of
the
paint
way through the furniture department.
all the way through the store.
I spent a whole day with, you know, cleaning up what I'd spilled.
Yeah, and then they had to pay him for cleaning up what you'd spilled. So,
Then you from Meadville, that's where I was conceived.
right?
It's important stuff to know.
Oh, that's right, our number one boy,
And then from there you went to
Erie.
and lived where?
Erie.
Yeah, we lived in
Kearsarge.
Kearsarge.
You did?
Yeah, we
What
lived
were you
there.
doing there?
I was a junior assistant manager at Kresge's.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. You weren't there long.
No.
3 months.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
why
that's
I didn't
about it.
know that. Oh.
I had a future there, I'll tell you.
Well, sure.
There was a Kresge's in Kearsarge?
No, it was
No,
in
no,
Erie,
right
but we
downtown
lived in
there.
Kearsarge.
We lived in Kearsarge.
And we lived upstairs in this furnished apartment where we had to share the bathroom with the people downstairs. So when the people downstairs wanted to take a bath, they came upstairs to our bathroom and took a bath.
And the biggest thing that happened to us the whole time, I remember they invited us down to
Yeah.
watch a Joe Louis fight. I can't remember which fight it was. But we went down to the living room, you know, and we had, you know, TV. I don't even think we had a radio. And we were just kind of a lost world down there. And that was a big deal.
Poor.
But I was sitting, you know.
Really, really poor. Boy, we just,
Oh man, $55 a week, I think it was.
I mean, what was our rent? It was $20
I
a
think
week.
so, yeah.
Our rent was $20
Came
a
home
week.
weekends to eat. And,
Yeah, we came home every
And look for a
weekend.
job.
Yeah.
well, I was doing that too, yeah. Yeah, it really was, yeah. It didn't take long. I knew I wanted to get out of there. And
No, you weren't working, Mom, were you?
No, I was drawing unemployment
Mhm.
because I was pregnant.
not
And
because you were pregnant. They didn't know you were pregnant.
No, they didn't know I was pregnant, but I'd have to sign in at the unemployment office every week, was it I had to go down?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd give me a list of places to go and visit, you know, and so I'd go and visit the people, and then I'd tell them, but I'm pregnant, so I can't work. I'm pregnant, so I won't be able to work
And
long.
we talk
Yeah.
about the blacks.
Shit. This will never make the final document.
So I drew unemployment until we came to Jamestown, and then I think did I still get it in Jamestown? No, I think they got wise to me when I got to Jamestown.
So, like, if I go to the Department of Labor, there's probably a file on you?
Well, probably in Pennsylvania. And but what I did, about $20, wasn't too much. I didn't get
She was
too much.
downtown looking for a job and parked the car in Erie, and I come walking by with my man Casey. I had one employee, a black guy that worked for me. And we go down to get the mail and stuff, you know, from all, and also from the freight office. and he was my helper, and I'd push the cart, and he'd walk beside me. The laziest guy you ever saw in your life. When we saw her car parked in the main drag of Erie, our car, and there was a parking ticket on it. I thought, well, you know, she's down looking for a job, and she's pregnant and everything, and we weren't doing it well. I'll take the thing off and pay for it. You know. I go down and pay for the dumb ticket. I don't know if I put a nickel in the meter or not. I can't even remember that. But sure enough, of course, the guy came walking back up the street, put another one on. And she paid that. And we didn't have nothing, you know. Man alive.
Oh, that was just terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, we
we
were
were
just
sick about that. 2
it,
tickets
we
in
had
one
no
afternoon.
money. And then we'd come home every weekend and eat good for the weekend at his mother's
We
because she'd
stayed at
feed
her-
us
our-
good.
yeah. But then we go to her house for Sunday dinner.
Yeah, and then we'd go back. Henry would always give
Give
us
us
meat,
meat.
so that he'd give us enough food so that we could live on that for the week.
And pepperoni and orange drink.
Yeah, we bought
That was a
down
big thing.
at the deli there. We'd always count out our change, see if we had enough money for that before. When you think of how poor you were,
I
you know.
know.
Oh,
It was really
that was
really
really, it
rugged
was
living.
down to pennies. And remember, your mother came to visit us once, and when she left, she put a couple dollars in the buffet under the thing. And we thought, oh, that's wonderful. You know?
Well, they come down to Meadville that time by train, her and Edith,
Yeah.
and brought all this fruit. You know, we really that was a real luxury to have fruit. Man, we thought that was really great to get a bunch of fresh fruit.
Yeah.
That wasn't in our budget. That was in Meadville, of course. We were still in school.
So,
And then on Sundays we go out. This guy next door to the parking lot next door to us, and we'd go over there. The first time we went over and asked if we just want to try the car out. He didn't really know who we were, and we'd go out and try the car out and take a ride out by Connie Lake, come back, you know, and then we really didn't care for that car. Well, then he found out, because it was right in our neighborhood where we went to thing, you know, and he got to know we did this the next Sunday, and we had fun with this guy because then he got to the point where, you know, he'd always go up and get us a certain car because he was really selling it to us. For the last 2 or 3 weeks, this was in the spring semester, you know, summer was coming, and he'd just sit there and we'd walk in, he said, grab some keys and go. And he knew what we were up to, and he was just a good guy. So we would get out and drive, and we'd take out to Connie Lake for a nice ride, and then come back. And we did that to the He was just a good sport because he knew we didn't have any money, you know. And we were using him for a sucker, but it was his boss, I guess. So he let us do it. So that was nice.
yeah. We didn't have a car, so that was the only way we could get out.
We didn't have a car at the university. We rode a bicycle all the time.
Did
We
you?
Oh, yeah, we didn't
walked
have a
everywhere
car.
we went.
Yeah, well, we
I'd
walked.
sit on the bar, Connie pedal.
Yeah, that's
Down
right.
we go to buy our groceries, and John carried the groceries on this. Oh, it was terrible.
Well, and Hitch, remember, we used to go play cards. Every Friday night we'd play canasta. And we'd carry a bottle of pop, you know, up to his house and play canasta all evening and drink that pop and then come back, and then the next Friday night, and here they'd come down with a bottle of pop, and we sit and play cards all night long.
We thought, well, how stupid. Why are we carrying
Yeah,
pop
why didn't he
each
furnish
other's?
it, you know?
Why
But
don't
we,
why didn't each one of us furnish a bottle of pop? We'd carry it to their house, and then when they came to our house, they'd carry it to our house, and we could have just furnished our own. But we thought we were helping out
and
that
then
way.
we get in arguments with that canasta game, you know, man, Kay, Hitch's wife, would cheat. Oh, what a cheater. Yeah, just to win that dumb canasta game.
Yeah. We wouldn't speak to each other at night
Yeah,
by the time the
isn't
night
that
was
right?
over with. And Lyle and I always played a game of canasta before we went to
Go to
bed.
bed, yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
We played
every
canasta.
night.
Cutthroat,
Yeah,
yeah.
we played one game of canasta before we went to bed at night. And then we'd go to bed.
And it
one
was
of
down
us,
in Meadville
yeah.
too, where you had to know the pirate lineup.
Yeah.
Listen to baseball games at night, and she knew I'd quiz her when we go to bed at night. I said,
He
who
laid
plays
there.
first base? Who plays? And before the season, you know, really
It
got
was
going.
really
we got-
romantic,
she knew them all.
Lyle.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah, I
sure.
know it. Yeah, wasn't it?
But she knew every one of them.
Well, I had to.
deal.
She kept.
Oh,
yeah.
it was important. Important. We went down and seen the Pirates play that year.
Yeah, boy, I had to know who was on first and who was on second.
We stayed with Bob Teet's parents, I think, didn't we? That night we went down to the ball game.
How did you afford a ticket? How did you have money for a ticket to the ball game?
I think he paid. I think Bob Teet because
So he paid for it?
yeah, I think he. I don't know how he even got a car, to be honest with you. But we stayed at his house, tickets in those days were about $1.50 to get in, you know. And
But I
it
know
was not
that
a big deal, but still $1.50.
That's right. At that
But
point,
they
$1.50
were,
was a
yeah.
lot of money.
It was his parents that we, like I say, they fed us, and you know, they college kids, how that went. So we didn't. And Jack Howells, who we stayed one night down in Catania. That was the Pirates then. We stayed with him in New Kensington down there.
Do you remember the lineup?
I'll tell you what it was. When we went down there was when Jackie...
Lyle will remember
No.
everything.
Anything Jackie Robinson's first year. Because we sat in right field, and Ford Field was packed, and every one of them was black. The whole population of black of Pittsburgh was out to see him play ball. And last time we went to the John, remember?
Oh, I know. Val and I went to the and there was a big line. And when I got in the John, you know, there was such a line that they wanted to make sure they got in, and people were running in front. So here, this black woman comes in with me, and so here you're trying to go to the bathroom, and this black woman is inside the
John with you?
with me, waiting, because she wanted to be the next one. She wanted to be the next one to go. How can you go when she's sitting there looking at you?
We're rugged days.
Yeah, I says, gosh, and here you want to go, and here's this woman staring at
I
you.
think I would have said, please, ma'am, leave.
Yeah, but she wanted to make sure she was the next one.
Oh, dear.
Oh gosh, that was an experience.
I think when this is over, he's going to appreciate his parents' poverty
Yes,
even more.
Well, we had it. I tell
We
you,
did
no
too.
getting
We
around.
were poor.
But everybody did.
there wasn't any Social Security or.
Yeah, but see, we had a woman, they help her in the house. They had a gardener or a painter around the house. They
Well,
lived
that was when
pretty
I was
good.
young, but I mean, then when
Yeah.
he got sick, you know, you think you're
Oh,
going to
no,
be able to
that
work
was
the
later.
rest
But I
of your
mean,
life.
you lived.
And
You were a lot more aristocratic than us poor Petersons.
but it was. But I said, when you're so used to being conservative and having to watch your pennies and save your money, you're into that mode for so many years that it's. Anybody going even through the Depression, I will say the same thing. You know, anybody that's gone through the Depression is going to be conservative after that. So.
And continues
Greg,
to
you
be.
don't know what
And
it's like.
continues to be so.
Yeah, you don't know what it's